I am Geoffrey Villehardouin in the Sweden campaign from 1648, 30 years of war, a mode for medieval to Total War Kingdoms by Infaracta. So this has been a 4-year-long journey. We're on the eve of victory. This is our king, the King of Sweden.
Sire.
He's laying siege on Neuhausen, the last settlement, and we're done with this campaign. We're going to take those cavalry and some of the musketeers and the artillery away, because we need many melee units.
Yes, sire.
And this is the Scottish regiment. They have a couple of units. Maybe I can give this King of Sweden. So they have some mercenary melee units. Those ones. Those three. I'm going to give them to the King of Sweden. And then the Scots will come as reinforcements. The king will launch the attack during the siege. He has the ladders.
Hail, my king.
And here's Gustav Horn, one of the other generals.
It is the honorable way to resolve this.
He is going to come and help in the siege as well. Here is the garrison of Neuhausen, reasonably strong, with lots of cavalry. And here's Piccolomini near the other settlement, Heiligenstadt, and he has a brigade of dragoons and cavalry. It's very interesting. He has raised a new army very quickly. And there is an enemy reinforcement, a small reinforcement force outside Neuhausen, so we have to deal with them. In the meantime, I'll send these two full-strength posiform pike units to the King of Sweden. Excellent units. Triple silver servant with extra attack.
My liege.
And Gustav Horn will also come and take part in the siege as reinforcements.
Yes. Orders.
And maybe I'll use him to attack that general there.
Sire.
Here's Johann Casimir von Wellen. He has some new units that have arrived, that have been retrained. They've arrived from Stralsund. Several years on the way in game terms. They finally arrived.
By your will, sire, we shall engage.
The Imperial reinforcement unit has retreated.
An honor, sire. Your will, sire. My lord. Your will, sire. Ja, mein Kaiser.
Since this is the end of the campaign, there's no point of retraining those units that I had sent back to that fort. They were on the way to Stralsund. But let's get everyone in. There are not going to be any more battles.
As you command,
so Johann Casimir von Wellen will lead the attack, and Captain Harold, the Duchy of Brunswick general, will counter aid.
Glory await England, men! Attack!
Wrong country. What can we do? So we're ready to go into battle. This is the Sweden army, the Swedish army, and we're having reinforcements coming from our allies, the Duchy of Brunswick. So this to protect the cannon, just in case the enemy cavalry charges the artillery. Here's a general. We have some dragoons and a little bit of cavalry. The enemy is strong in cavalry. They almost have only cavalry. There's some dragoons there. I'm going to join them with the spike unit. Turn them into some kind of mini tertia there. There you go. And we're going to shoot at the enemy, hopefully. That'll be enough, and we'll just keep them pinned down until the reinforcements arrive. So Captain Harold is coming with his reinforcements, and the enemy Italian cuirassiers are attacking. Here's Captain Harold, he has some cavalry, will be helpful. So here's the enemy Italian cuirassiers, there are about a dozen of them, they're doing a suicide attack. We are countercharging with our own cuirassiers. The enemy cuirassiers are instantly routed. 4 of them have survived and they're running for their lives. And here's one of the enemy generals with his life guard, and the other enemy generals on the other side, and in the middle is their musket unit, their musketeers. Here, Captain Harold has arrived, he has attacked one of the generals with his cavalry. The other enemy general has attacked our cuirassiers that were skirmishing on the side.
They have lost half their men.
So these are cuirassiers, there's some Italian cuirassiers in post-reform, these ones with the black armor here. Post-reform cuirassiers. Some of this armor, I've seen it in Germany in a museum. Very, very nice looking. It was black, it was like just like that. And so some of the Brunswick cavalry has arrived. Those Italian cuirassiers have attacked the enemy general in the rear, so we got him surrounded.
Is very much in our favor. The enemy army flees the field. Pursue and run them down. This is a clear victory that goes to only men of great virtue and valor.
So, we've destroyed the enemy army. Apparently they only have 5 survivors, it seems. That's an interesting quote. Can be further from the truth if one considers that period. The people at that time were extremely caught up in religious matters, and they wrote incredible polemics, just spurred on by tiny things like, oh, the enemy religion has stained glass windows in the churches, they are the Antichrist, and they were so caught up in these questions of whatever. And even Martin Luther King said that faith must trample underfoot all reason. So it's quite the opposite. It's different to talk retrospectively with the benefit of knowing how the world cultures in Europe developed. So the enemy retreated away, that relief force, those 5 survivors. Johann Casimir von Wellen increased in loyalty because of his victory.
Hail, my king! By your will, sire, we shall
attack their little army a second time, retreats again. Very interesting.
Face me in battle.
Oh, they have,
it is the honorable way to resolve
they have 10 survivors somehow, and their general 11.
Yes.
Okay, so Johann Casimir von Wellen comes to join us in the siege, and it looks like the Brunswickers are also next to Neuhausen.
An honor, sire. Command me, sire.
So we're going to have enough reinforcements on our attack on Neuhausen. This is going to be the final battle. So this is
slaughter them, my lord.
The final battle of the war. The final siege, and of course I'm not going to auto-resolve. It would have been very easy to win this battle by auto-resolving, but I'll give you the real siege for a change. So here's our king. He will lead the attack, he has the ladders, and the Scots will come as reinforcements with the other units. Oh, here, this is the defense of Neuhausen. So it's not very strong, the garrison of Neuhausen. They have some cavalry, but not much else. Unlike the garrison of Heiligenstadt, much stronger there. They made the mistake, these guys. Well, not the mistake. It's the way this game works. They came out to fight a little bit in the open when we had that battle in the open in the previous episode or 2 episodes back. So here are the 5 armies that are supporting us in this attack. The King of Sweden is leading the attack. Again, the garrison.
There'll be no escaping us now! Attack!
Or 4 armies, 5 armies altogether attacking, 4 as reinforcements, and the king is leading the attack. Only the king has ladders. So the other guys will have to hang back, and maybe once we put the ladders on the wall, they can come and support us. If the AI is clever enough, very often the AI bugs out. The hill was nothing else but fire and smoke, like to the thundering echo of a thunderclap with a noise of cannon and musket. A quote from Robert Monroe in his expedition, his memoirs from the war. Very nicely written, very colorfully written. So here's our king with his army, mostly pikemen, but also a few musketeers, mostly full strength units, because he's going to take the brunt of the battle.
I have it on good authority that in the enemy camp there's fine wine. Let's go get it!
Okay, fine wine is all that matters to the Swedes. Let's go! Let's go! Run, run! Okay, the cannon shots have started already with the word go. Blasted with a cannon shot, lost a few men there. A couple of cannon shots even. So you have really to close in as fast as you can, because the cannons start shooting from the wall. So you just have to run to as close to the walls as possible, so you have some protection, at least from the cannon. But the musketeers can still shoot you, at least not the cannon if you're right next to the walls. And so the other armies are here. You can see them. There's another 4 armies as reinforcements. And they are just going to hang back until we have put ladders on the walls. So here we're running as fast as we can. We're still suffering some casualties. And you just have to run to get close to the walls. And in those days, if they could get close to the walls, that was a big if. Most of the fighting actually took place outside the walls during sieges. In trenches, and there were salias and so on. And there were ravelins, which were little mini forts that were placed outside the star fort. But if they could close in onto the walls, then they could put...
Ladders are now in place. Walls are no match for the valor and force of our arms.
Okay, they would put hooks with ropes, and they would throw them onto the wall, and they would use the ropes to climb onto the wall. Sometimes they also use ladders, like you saw there. But sometimes they climbed onto the wall using ropes that had a hook at the end. And if they could get it hooked onto the wall, they would start climbing up that rope. But of course they were being shot from the cannon and the musketeers on the side, so it was very, very tricky to do that. Almost impossible, and that's why most of the fighting took place outside. So here's a little bit, okay, it's a little bit buggy here, so let's pretend they've put some of these ropes onto the walls. They're actually climbing up ladders. So the star forts are a little bit, yeah, they're not perfect. Oh, these guys are looking better. They have the ladders on the walls. Disappear into the walls. And they managed to get onto the star fort. So we have a foothold on the star fort.
The Lord is with us today. We've captured the enemy's walls. The ladders are now in place. Walls are no match for the valor and force of our arms.
We captured the walls on one side. So here are the other 4 armies. 3 generals and 1 army without a general. So let's not attack yet. So they're on defense, so they're just standing back at the moment. Okay, maybe we'll attack these 2 on this side since we've opened the gates. And on the other side we have to wait until the gates are opened on this side as well. And then hopefully they will go through the gates, because sometimes they just go around and try to get through the front gate. I mean, hopefully they'll go through the side gates, because we opened the side gate now on the left. And So the units on the left can come in. Hopefully they will come in. The AI gets backed out sometimes, so we'll see. So some of our units are inside. So here I'm going to open the gates on the other side, on the right hand side. Here's the side that the Scots are in, and Gustav Horn. Okay, so we open the gates on this side as well. So now the Scots and Gustav Horn can come in. If they would please come in. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, Gustav Horn has already started moving. I'm not so sure of his own accord. Okay. Please come in. Okay, and so our units are already, so these are the units that were with the King of Sweden. They are already inside. They've encountered these musketeers that were trying to get back to the base, but they were cut off. They were trying to get to the central plaza.
Very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
So we brought some musketeers, they're shooting at them. The enemy, the imperialist musketeers have taken out the swords. They've suffered already some casualties being shot by musketeers. And they're taking out the swords. They're not being terribly aggressive, I must say. They sense their fate is sealed. Maybe they're surrendering. Will you take out your swords and fight? You're just being murdered, I guess. So here's our king, the King of Sweden, is moving towards the central plaza. We have some musketeers here shooting at the enemy units, which are now congregating the central plaza. They have some cavalry, lots of arquebusiers, mainly cavalry. They also have a couple of melee units. They have one pike unit here. Here we're back to the fight. Eventually the enemy musketeers were taking out the swords, but they're cut down. Only a handful of men are still surviving. The pikemen are making quick work of the enemy musketeers. But they're still fighting, they're not broken. That's very interesting. He's shaking, this guy, he's still fighting. Their captain, he's wavering, he's not even shaken anymore. Wow, it's a very high morale unit. The captain is still fighting. It's just one captain! Okay, finally we killed him. He was hard to kill. Okay, so here back to the central square, we are shooting with our Blue Brigade musketeers here at the enemy cavalry, who are not charging us. Here's the enemy general, and some enemy arquebusiers. They are skirmishing around. Finally, our pikemen have arrived. And they're going to attack the enemy general in the rear. More pikemen attack in the front.
By St. George, our men have slain the enemy general. The battle is very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
And the enemy general has been slain. Walter Ferdinand von Steiermark. And now our pikemen have engaged the enemy arquebusiers. Here is the enemy in the central plaza. They also have some musketeers. Our pikemen are slowly moving in. We also have some double-handers here. And here is our king. There he is. Here he is. Very glorious. The final battle of the final war, the final moment. Here's our king. Okay, so all our armies are now moving in. Hopefully, I've clicked on attack, so hopefully they'll come and help us out. I'm not sure if I should click on the central plaza, actually. I haven't done that. Okay, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. Maybe I should have clicked on the central plaza when I clicked on them. Okay, so here are more of our pikemen, Blue Brigade pikemen. They're fighting some enemy cavalry. They're countercharged by the cavalry, but the enemy cavalry has no chance. They're doing the best they can, however, I must say.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
Okay. So bringing in musketeers, we have them, so why not bring them in? And our pikemen have already reached the plaza. It's just one pike unit basically now left, so all our pikemen are attacking that one enemy pike unit. That's the last unit the enemy still has. Fighting. And the musketeers are all shooting at that pike unit.
Yes, Your Majesty.
So here are our units that all attack the enemy pike unit. And there are also some musketeers here, some enemy musketeers still fighting. Well, quite a few of them. Well, here's the enemy pike unit. Somehow they're marching on undisturbed, even though our entire army is trying to get to them. The enemy musketeers are holding our entire army back, and here the enemy pikemen have managed to get to one of our musket units, unfortunately. Come on, our pikemen, what are you doing? You know, there are like 3 pikemen chasing after them. Why are you taking so long? How can the enemy pikemen be so fast? Okay, finally, one of the Yellow Brigade companies have reached them. And so now the enemy pikemen are surrounded. There are another 10 pike units trying to reach their rear, but they're taking their time. So hurry up. We're losing some good musketeers here for no reason. Look at all these pike units. We have all these pike units and they're trying to get to the enemy pikemen. But for some reason, they're taking their time. What are you doing, people? Hurry up. Okay, finally, another turnaround. They're surrounded. But they're in the plaza, kind of. Oh, no, maybe not. They have incredibly high morale, this enemy pikemen. Okay, finally they've been routed. Now they've been rallied again. Okay, 4 Imperialist soldiers standing on our way to final victory.
This is a clear victory that goes to only men of great virtue and valor.
Clear victory! This is it! So, a king of Sweden lost about 400 men. That's unfortunate. The other guys also lost some men. Somehow, even though they never even got to the fight. And we killed twice as many enemies, so that's okay. So, incredible. 4 years later, the end of the campaign. So here are the results. You thought it would never happen. Huh. Okay, so it's not so important. Various units killed, various numbers of enemy soldiers. These reinforcements did not even get a fight. They were just being shot from the walls and never made it to the central plaza. So that was a waste. I didn't need them in the end. Okay, another complaining quote against religion, but this war was about religion. It's a different thing to look at it from our own eyes. It looks absurd, but people in those days were so caught up on the tiniest differences and thought this war was Armageddon. It was like the second coming, and they were considering the other side the Antichrist and so on. It's very different to look at it with the benefit of 4 centuries of further thinking and analyzing. So, Neuhausen is ours!
Victory! Nothing can stop us, sire! Victory! These people now kneel before us, my lord.
Walk in. Yes! Victory! Victory! Victory at last! 4 years of these video clips. 4 years of playing this campaign. And finally, victory. And it won't take you 4 years to play. That's because for a couple of years I was frustrated because my hard disk crashed and I lost lots of saves. It was great fun. Making these videos is also time consuming, but I wanted to do it. So, glorious victory at last. The King of Sweden is victorious. Shall I continue playing? Yes. Yes, yes! Thank you for being with me those long 4 years and sticking with me through this campaign. Thank you so much.